Hello and welcome to chapter 156 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Oh, Travis, I am tired. I had to learn two new jobs today. Well, technically, learned one new job and then volunteered to learn the second one because we rotated. The second one was a little easier, but doing a new job always, your body's not used to those movements. Your body's not used to doing that. So I'm tired. Ibuprofen was my friend today. How
Oh,
are you?
nice. I'm feeling the same, Joe. I'm a little tired myself. I have a midterm on Wednesday, so Mr. Gunn could not have been worse with his decision to hold the slate to the final day because,
Honestly, it's probably better because I know you said you're gonna put something out tomorrow.
yeah,
We're
it
not gonna
depended.
do we're
No,
not gonna do a live thing because that would be the third night in a row for me being up late and the second night for you. So yeah.
and I have a midterm the following
Yep.
day. So, listeners, I'm going
I got my
to
kid this week too, so I gotta get up just a little bit earlier.
I'm going to hop on whenever it's announced. Well, it could be I have class from 10:30 to 2:30. So if it's announced in that period, I'll hop on when I get home. But I'm just gonna do a quick 30-minute like reaction to the slate. Myself and Joe will really break it down uh
Next Monday.
next Monday. I
Yeah.
studied a lot today to kind of give myself a bit of wiggle room to do a 30-minute sort of thing if it dropped. So I was hoping it would drop today though. But in a sense, I was telling Joe before we started recording, we have a nice bit of news here, and all of that would have been pushed to the wayside for definitely an hour plus discussion about the slate. So I'm glad we can at least talk about the trailer because Joe, there wasn't a lot of hubbub for the Shazam trailer. Before we get into all of that,
Hmm.
uh, and also listeners, it's going crazy out there on Twitter with false scoops, fake scoops.
I
Uh,
don't know. The Batman slate coming up is looks really awesome.
Espels, we'll give you that right after I do the quick network plugs. You know, it's the mandate. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance, and that rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is a walk through the multiverse. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays is the Animation Nation. On Sundays, monthly, is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to GUA and your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The dollar tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing, you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe have something for his multiverse minutes in the can. It's going to be a while before that drops,
The
but there is
Multiverse Minutes Animation Nation crossover.
crossover. But for the Patreon, we'll title it as it's going under the multiverse minutes banner.
Fine.
So, Joel, reluctantly, okay, we'll add it to my gigantic list of multiverse minutes things that I've done, including my Halloween.
Oh yeah, I gotta prepare for this Halloween. Maybe
Yeah,
even Christmas. We'll see.
but you get that. Myself and Joe are going through DC films through the years. The most recent one we did was Superman 4. So check that out. It was so much fun. Uh,
Here
so much fun to talk about how bad it
we
was.
go. Yeah,
And we have Swamp Thing 2 on deck. So I'm really
yeah.
excited
Return of
to
the Swamp Thing.
get into that this
That
month.
one's an interesting movie.
So Heather Locklear is the only thing I remember about that. So I'll really be interested to
VCR.
see.
Just saying,
Yeah,
we'll get there. You'll see it.
yeah, so we're going through all the DC films through the years. We have Chris and Brant going through from the Marvel Alliance guys going through the MCU rewatch, not only the movies but the one shots as well. I think Avengers: Age of Ultron just came up on the podcast feeds today
I
for
believe it
the
dropped today.
Patreon.
Yes.
So check them out. They're going through the entirety of the MCU, and who better to go through it with than the Marvel Alliance guys? We also have, like I said before, Joel's Multiverse Minutes. We have Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband Matt, and we have Clay going through shows for the first time. So we thank everyone that's a patron. But if you can't be a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that's always greatly appreciated. Helps other people find the show, and that's always a great thing. Okay, Joe, let's queue up. what S-Pubs had asked too. S-Pubs asked, any final predictions for the slate? I'm gonna say they're gonna go a little bit more than what we thought, S-Bubs.
Doctor
I'm
Cool. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going Doctor Cool. I'm going to think we're going to get something about Green Lantern as well because we got news this week that Berlanti is not going to be involved with DC stuff. I don't see that Green Lantern show going off the ground, and I feel like we're going to get something with Gunn about that. So that is a final prediction that I think we could possibly be getting.
Green Lantern definitely seems like a safe bet, just because we haven't had a proper Green Lantern since
And the
2010.
last one was so critically and most people panned it. It's not a hard one to pick and be like, I can do that so much better.
We could definitely improve. We can improve on what was given.
We can give them more than what they were given before.
Yes.
Agreed.
And
So
since we have no idea what's going on with the show, why not try
it
and
could
do
even be a
something?
show, Joe, because of the TV movies that he's going to connect across the DCU.
Correct.
But
Yeah. But I mean,
I think it's completely different. Like the showrunners, the people involved with the Green Lantern before, I think it's completely different. And on the game talks about. Did you see the Robert Garcia tweet where he said he's going to bring him into Congress? That was
it's just been.
fantastic.
I mean, it's been great.
And I want to say it's really great that we haven't gotten the slate leak yet. And I think that's because he invited a lot of scoopers and he calls out scoopers,
Yes,
quote
he
tweeting
does.
them. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that none of them don't want his ire.
All
Because
the
going
leaks.
forward, too, he's going to be key going forward. It's like if Kevin Feige brought you in, would you leak that in? Anyone but John Campea might, but anyone but John Campea won't. But you know,
But yeah, even at that, like all the leaks that have been coming have been fun. They've been playfully leaking things right now. I don't think we'll get a true leak until maybe in the morning. Like
yeah, I
we
think
might actually have somebody throwing something out there as a leak when it's actually a leak, but they're playing it as a leak, and then it'll be announced. I think we were in the chat. We were thinking sometime maybe around noonish Eastern, which would be about 9 Pacific, which tends to be about the time. But who knows? It's gonna be tomorrow.
me walking out of managerial class 1:30 when I get the notification. I'm out of here.
There
Gotta
you
go
go.
live. See you.
And as for this one, on the game says John Stewart, Hal Jordan. I say both. I think we talked about this last week. I would love both as like a buddy cop, but I mean, I don't know. Hal is the classic. John is the one everybody knows.
If I'm doing it as a show, I want to start with Jon Stewart and have Hal established, kind of like they did in the Beware My Power animated film, but not have Hal
Oh,
be a crazy like parallax like entity. Have him
yeah.
being a accomplished Green Lantern and have him show up in like the 5th episode or the 3rd episode, like if it's depending on how long the season is, and have him show up and then go from there with the buddy cop. So I would love for him to start with Jon Stewart learning everything about the Green Lantern Corps. Then when we meet Hal Jordan, he's already
Established. He's
established,
already
knows everything
okay,
about
good.
it, knows every different Green Lantern member, and they all revere him because he's already like proven himself a couple times. Like I
Not
would
bad thought.
love that. That would be a great. But I'm just excited for Green Lantern overall, and
Yeah.
I want to know if anything connects to like the movies that we're getting this year, the 4 movies, or is this completely new? Because we've gotten other rumors out today that we'll address later that Dave Bautista said in an interview, we don't even need to address it later, we can talk about it now. He said that he talked about Bane with James Gunn, but Gunn is going completely rebooting, going young.
Leaning towards
Yes.
rebooting. That's
Yes.
the thing with the quote. He didn't actually completely say that Gunn is rebooting. He said that he's leaning toward it.
Yeah, he's thinking.
Probably
He said
going
he
to.
thinks. Yeah, like no,
Yeah.
Dave Bautista said he thinks that James Gunn is thinking. So yeah, it's like a
And yeah,
double
he's
think.
probably
Yeah,
going to, but
yeah.
we don't know. Like people that quote came out quickly and the trades were running with it.
Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman fans are like, no.
Yeah. But I
So
mean, I've said it on the show. You've said it too. Like a complete reboot would make sense.
it
Would
will
it
be the
suck?
way to go.
Yes, but it would make it'd make better sense to just clean slate, start new with everybody.
And I finally listened to the DC Film Squadcast episode about them, basically like where their heads are at now in terms of fan. I'm a far more
Yeah,
the fan than that, but I did feel for them a couple times when they said like,
just
like I'm just going to judge each one on its own merits. I can understand that after being as invested as they were for so long.
And then got
But
burned. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm really excited for Tomorrow, Joe. I think this is going to be great. I it's a buzz that hasn't been around DC in a while now, so it's a good thing, and I can't wait to find out what the slate finally is. No more speculating, and I just wonder: are they going to continue on with some characters like Amanda Waller? Will she be different? Or are they completely rebooting
Which would suck
Peacemaker?
because
We're
there have
getting
been
some
some great
answers tomorrow.
characters.
We're getting
Yeah,
some
the
answers
answers.
tomorrow.
There have been some great characters that could have continued, but I still say clean slate, just start over.
And listeners, don't worry. I will have the GUA podcast, GUA Twitter feed up on my side, my corner view here, so that if any news busts, they'll throw it up there for sure. And we also have S Bubs coming in and out of the chat, so S Bubs knows everything's like totally plugged in, like brother eye. So I assume if there was a leak on the slate, S Bubs would probably
You
already
sure
say.
immediately.
I know.
All in the game. I think Batista Bane would make more sense in Reeves' universe. I would just love him as Bane. I don't care
I
where he's at.
I saw a
I do agree with that
someone
all in the game.
tried to fan cast for Batista today, and they did Doctor Hugo Strange, and I almost like fell out of my chair. It looked that similar. I wish I could find a tweet right now. Maybe I even sent it to.
It wasn't in the group chat because
I think I might send it to DC. No, I did not. Sugar.
okay.
It was crazy, Joe. It was so, and I was like, oh my god. And then he talked about not being able to keep up physically with Bane if it was like multiple movies. It'd be tough for him because he's in the 50s now, so he's up
Is
there. It
he?
can't. Yes, it
I
can't
thought
be
he was
easy.
only in his 40s. Shit.
No, he started wrestling like late 30s when he
Oh,
started.
really?
Yeah, like he was found late for
Well, that
wrestling,
explains
and
why he
then
got out of
yeah.
wrestling then and went
Oh
into
yeah,
movies.
like he used to get hurt a lot in wrestling too, and it made sense where he was a lot older than
Yeah.
some of the other stars. Like he would get hurt a nice
But the
bit.
thing, I mean, you say multiple movies. It all just depends on if they actually continue on. I mean, I'm not saying that the villains nowadays are one and done. We've seen
No,
that with the Marvel stuff where, Loki keeps coming back. Or, I mean, majority of the villains are one and done. But like I said, Loki, you've got Zemo, who are a couple of the other ones. Really more the latter slate. But yeah, I mean, him, it would suck that he can just, if he would do Bane just once and then leave. But at the same time, how many outside of telling multiple stories with Bane in it, like you tell
you
the
could.
main story with Bane and then have him just in the background.
Well, you could have him like be a member of the Suicide Squad for a movie as well.
You could.
So that's the thing that I don't know how they would do that. Like Batista, I don't know if he wants to play such a jacked individual anymore.
Vulture
Uh,
from
I'm a little confused. I don't think you
I mean,
elaborate a little bit
I
more.
think he's referring to multiple villains
Oh yeah.
surviving.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure, but that's going from Marvel MCU to Sony, and yeah, it works. I guess it technically, yes, he survived. He's continuing on.
Do you really want to count something that's been in Morbius though for anything? As someone who had to watch that to review it on,
Yeah, I
I
watched
know.
it too.
I was
I
trying to
watched
get you
it
to
twice.
agree with me. Yeah, it
I
was
watched it twice.
terrible. So
I don't know. I got it on my what movies anywhere. It came free because I saw that Venom and Spider Man in however many months, and I got all three of them for free.
it's certainly an exciting time now. So we'll pop in and out when there's some questions in chat about possibilities for
Correct.
tomorrow. We'll answer them, but we'll get into the trailer right now for Shazam: Fear of the Gods. And before we talk about that, Joe, I want to say like uh, there was not much positivity for this trailer on my timeline. Like
It
not
came
much
and went.
at
Like it
all.
dropped, and people were. I know we in the group chat were like, "Okay, this looks fun.
Yeah.
We'll all see it." I watched it twice because the first time I'm like, "Oh, they." It seems like they're giving most of the movie away. But then the second time when you brought up the oh yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Sorry.
counting Morbius. What did they say there?
Sorry, a
On
little
the
PTSD with Morbius there, Ali. On the game. I'm like, no, I can't talk about Morbius, please.
Morbius. It's
That's
Morbid
fair.
time. I don't know why we're
Oh my
talking
god.
Marvel on DC.
Well, we tend to do that from time to time,
We do.
as
But
Brent
then,
likes
yeah,
to know.
you brought up, and it's actually in the notes here about Gal Gadot maybe it being Wonder Woman in the trailer. And the second time I watched the trailer, I totally forgot to look for that.
Yeah,
So
I didn't see it, even when I tried to watch for it, I couldn't find it. So I'll queue this up and share it. I'll uh mute my uh, audio so
oh,
we
yeah, there
can
you go.
do this. So here, hold on a second. Uh,
Do, 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 do.
so we open at the Rock of Eternity as well here, and then we get the Daughters of Atlas. I don't get the whole complaint about uh showing everything because I'm still a
It's
little
not a complaint.
confused.
It's just it's one of those things where I feel like we saw the whole movie. We saw what's gonna happen.
It could, like I said, I've only
But
watched this
that's the
trailer
thing, like
once.
the fact that another studio, like they contract these trailers out to other studios, so they're given the material and then they compile a trailer. It's
Which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, Joe. Like, they should have the director directly involved with the trailer.
should
Like, it's just
totally
just
should.
for me. I know the director. I can always remember and work on talking with Marvel for a second here, but No Way Home's or Homecoming's director was so scared that they were going to give out that Michael Keaton's character was playing the Vulture in the trailer. They were scared that they were going to give away that reveal, which would ruin the whole tense scene in the car where Peter finds out and he finds out. So they were worried that they might
Mm.
show some of that. Like they were so. I remember him reading an interview with him saying that. So yeah, it's always worried, like Joe said, when you have trailers like this. But I still like. I'm really loving the effects here. We have a what seems to be is either I think that's a giant dragon, right? That's forming out of the ground here,
Do you think it's a dragon? I mean, I guess
or
it'd be,
or it could be a kraken,
I don't
or
know, considering that it's going like out of the stadium and then like going into the city and just destroying everything. I don't know. I feel like it's more of the landscape, or even mythical landscape, considering these are the daughters of Atlas, just reforming the world.
so you're getting like a Justice League 2017 type thing with the blue purple thing going out from the main. I don't know why I quoted it here, but yeah. I
Yeah,
get what you're
was
saying
it
though,
until
Joe.
you said that? Why are you bringing that bad juju onto us?
I understand what you're saying though, Joe. That actually, like, when you look at it from like as it zooms out, it makes more sense. Yeah, it's like basically covering the entire city, I
Yeah,
guess.
which is
And
why the Shazamly, um,
what do you think he's talking about here?
to Helen Mirren's
To
character.
Yeah. So let me tell you why Pfizer is. I sorry, I had to.
Fuck you, God. Okay.
No, Zachary Levi's here. His Shazam is talking to Helen Mirren, and yeah, she just swats him away like a fly. I'm really interested in this because also you have so many people like scared of these characters, and I still haven't noticed the Wonder Woman. We fill in what happened with him
All the
last
game. People
movie.
could have only watched teaser trailers and avoid everything like I do. Would love to, but we're on a
Got to break
show
it
that
down
we
on the
kind of
game.
have to talk about it. But
I
I
do
know.
like this shot as well. The
Oh, the family.
entire Shazam
Yeah, it's pretty
family.
fun.
And I have been hearing rumors that we might get like a Freddy evil. I did see I think a toy that said that something like that. So I'm wondering if they lure Freddy to the dark side.
I would love if he goes Eclipse though. I called it, but I know it's not gonna happen.
Oh, the giant dragon as well versus Shazam. That's supposed to be a big set piece. They've played with that in multiple trailers, and this is where I'm interested, Joe. I'll just go
The
back for
apple.
a second, where they first of all, where they're taking the kids. I think they're just stealing their powers away. Do you
They
understand
are.
what the apple means here
I
in
saw a
town?
breakdown of the trailer and they talked about it, and I can't remember.
So I assume they're trying to steal all the powers that the kids have already had. She does mention that in the trailer that they've been given these
Well, and we
powers
see them take
right
Freddy
here.
right here. We see them take Mary in just a little bit. I don't know if they take the others because I could definitely see Shazam taking the others and
Also,
going into battle.
props to them for the Game of Thrones Khaleesi reference there. I did really enjoy that. That was great, and great shot that was as well.
the
Uh,
dragon house.
do
Yeah.
you know who this character is, Joe?
They. I mean, the name has been announced. I think it's an original character,
Okay,
but I
that's what I
don't
was curious.
know.
Was a comic character or not? So yeah,
I
original
don't
character.
know the Shazam comics well enough.
So we get, like I said, the wizard there as well. That is completely terrified of the Daughters of Atlas.
Thanks on the
Uh,
game. I know you didn't mean us, but just
And
yeah, I don't
they're
know.
still questioning how to take this down. There's still a lot of CGI, very CGI heavy trailer, but that kind of makes sense. And Billy asked for his powers back at one point, which he's not thinking he's not worthy. I still haven't seen the Wonder Woman shot I'm looking for here. And like you said, they take Mary's powers, and he has to save her, which is a nice scene as well.
Very fun.
And
I
it
think
looks
that's
like they're
the scene right
alluding
there.
to his sacrifice here.
Well,
Uh,
again, sacrifice, but I got the impression that Freddy is, he's trying to talk him down, but maybe because Shazam is pulling the power from everybody else.
it could be that as well.
Like
Uh,
he realizes that, especially when the wizard is telling him, like, you know what you have to do, and I mean, not just to sacrifice himself, but he has to. The power when he gave it up was stretched out, it seemed,
yes.
and the fact that he needs to be at full power to take on the Daughters of Atlas, and he's got the staff, and I'm assuming the staff is holding the power. Because
Yeah.
if the staff is holding the power and the daughters don't have the power that they took from Freddie and Mary, then he's got all the power in hand.
I assume he has to use that to take out the dragon at the very
Well,
end.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
the dragon seems to be the prominent monster. And you saw in the trailer how his costume kept getting like darker because it either got burnt or something. But like there in the final scenes, he is going up against dragon, and practically his whole outfit is like blackened and darkened. So I don't know. Like I don't know if it's him. If he's just look, if he sacrificed himself, yay, I guess. No more Zachary Levi in DCU, considering everything that happened.
I still enjoy his portrayal of the character, and
Oh yeah, no, he did a wonderful job.
this is where they say is the Wonder Woman possible cameo here. Maybe giving a pep talk to Shazam after he doubts himself.
I mean, it's possible, but that could also just be him talking to Mary or him talking to his mom.
That very well could
Like
be him talking to Mary as well. I don't see his mom showing up in this film. I'd be shocked to see her.
not his biological mom.
Okay, yeah.
His new mom. I mean, chances are just as good that it's Wonder Woman, that's Gal Gadot, as it is.
Well, she was rumored to be in
Lillian.
this for quite some time, so
That is very
that's
true.
why I think. But yeah, it was a fun trailer, Joe. I'm excited to see this film when it comes out in another like less than 2 months. So
Yeah,
this will be our next film. I'm really excited about that.
we should get.
Before we
Hope
get
the
into
tickets
any,
go on sale soon.
yeah, that will be nice. Before we get into that, before we get into anything else, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we have some DC news that is not the DCU slate. Unfortunately, we're not that plugged in. Here's Wonder Woman. Yes, Bubs, you're always
Thank you,
there for the
Bubs.
perfect comment. Perfect comment. And one could only hope that would be a
Shoulderless Wonder Woman, because
nice
shoulders
little.
you can't show shoulders.
Oh man.
Anyway,
But yeah, I wish we were talking about the DCU lineup, but we do have some sad news, I guess, or depending on what you think. I don't think this is sad for either show, especially for
we,
Doom Patrol, but in a
we've been
positive
calling it
way.
all season.
It's been announced that both Titans and Doom Patrol will end after the current season. While Doom Patrol was a more critically successful show, both shows lasted for a total of 4 seasons. Joe, are you disappointed? Are you happy? Do you not care really? Uh,
I'm happy they're going out on their own terms.
mhm.
Like they're
That was in the thing. That
assuming,
both shows knew they were ending. That
yeah.
was in there.
And we had somewhat known that. Like we've had a few of the actors and actresses tweeting out, "Oh man, this was the
It
last
really came
drag up
out
to this
today.
character."
It really came out the past week, which, like,
Yeah, it was
Jack
finally
Orphan, Matt
officially. So
Boomer,
like
everybody was dropping their things.
again, I'm happy they're getting their own ending. They actually ended on their own terms. Am I sad they're leaving? They've been up and down, like Titans especially. Um, Doom Patrol's been good from the get go, but the fact that they got 4 seasons for this bonkers show is amazing.
Yes, I
Um,
I'll classify it as this. Titans was a failure to me. Uh,
Titans started
just
out strong, wonderful
execution.
costumes, and then they
Good
just
actors as well. Good actors
really
in the
good
role, just
actors
bad
for most
plot,
of them.
bad story. Doom Patrol was fantastic. It kind of, uh, I won't say it just petered out a little bit. It didn't like
Plateaued.
keep
Not
yeah,
really petered out. Plateaued.
plateaued is a good word for it. In the like between seasons 2 and 3, but
Yes.
season 4 is fantastic in Doom Patrol because it's really setting these characters up not for anything else going forward. It really seems like finality for every one of these characters' story arcs. We're getting finality. It
Yeah.
seems like we're really heading that way. Whereas Titans, I still don't know what anybody's end arc could be in Titans. Whereas I have a rough idea where some of these Doom Patrol characters may end up if things work out good for them and if things work out bad. So uh, I just love Doom Patrol. It's going to be sad to see Doom Patrol go, but like you said, it got 4 seasons, and on the game says it says in the chat at least both got 4 full seasons, which is saying something. Yes, especially that they were streaming shows, and I think were both shows DCU originals first that went over to HBO Max and
Yes.
became HBO
And the
Max
fact
originals.
that
Yes.
those two stayed and we lost Swamp Thing still
The fact that they
hurts my
cut
heart.
Swamp Thing out before they even finished the
I
episodes
know. They
was,
cut it down and then they like, okay, bye.
and I in a great world, if you're people in the show, that they wouldn't break this story until after at the very end. But at least it might give people a final chance to get there and watch these episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you on the game and residuals. So it's on. I know it's on some network TVs here in Canada. So
I
the
believe
actors will get
Titans is
stuff.
on network TV right in like on TNT or something
TNT,
here.
yes, it is
So
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
So,
2 seasons behind, but still
but
it's
still,
on it's on TV.
I'm just looking at it from the actor's point of view. When you take this role, you're going to get like if you get 4 seasons, you will get some residuals down the
Oh
line
yeah.
for that because it's going to pay off, and that's just nice. It's just like I said, with Titans, is more disappointment in what it could have been. Like there was so much more potential. I don't think Doom Patrol could have been any better than what it was. Like I really
Again, Doom
don't. Like
Patrol was that weird little like nephew over the weird little cousin over there in the corner playing with ants and I don't know, whatever else, centipedes that apparently you still loved and still invited. So yeah,
and would
that's
come
a weird
over
metaphor.
and would come over and be hilarious out of
Yeah.
nowhere. But yeah, it just yeah, but yeah, congrats for just the run. And I do love how some people I just love how stupid some people are writing James Gunn complaining about him canceling them and James Gunn being like, yeah, that wasn't my call. Uh Pennyworth is still going.
I haven't
I
watched it,
haven't
so
watched it, but I
I
know
know
it's still going.
it's is this
Because
a
they
part of
changed the
HBO now?
name. They changed the name for the for the third season. I just know that. Pennyworth, like a Batman story
But
or
is
Pennyworth.
is Pennyworth gonna be HBO Max exclusive now?
I'm not sure on that, Joe. I don't know, especially with HBO Max. They're not the most solid in terms of what their plans are.
But
So
it's going
you would
there,
think
like, it
so.
went from Showtime and is now going to HBO Max.
Yes, they have
Okay.
it, but I don't know how long they'll like. We see them getting rid of the John Wick movies, and we're having a new John Wick movie come out this year. That makes a
Well, I
lot of
mean,
sense to me.
contract
But
probably. Which, yeah, that reminds me, I gotta watch John Wick tomorrow or today if you're listening to this.
there you go.
The
so
last one. I already watched the first two, like, last couple weeks.
so we have
Whatever.
so we have rumors that the Flash's trailer, the length of it. So listeners, let's just stare directly into Joe's eyes as I say all these things and just see if he blinks or does anything. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. Yeah, it's rumored that it's rumored that the Flash trailer is going to be clocking at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If it's going to be oh my god, S Bubs. I didn't actually think that that's what it was. Like that was in my head, and I was like, no, they wouldn't call it that. I'm off on that. But no, yeah, it's actually called Pennyworth: The Origin of Batman's Butler. I didn't think I was just going to say the origins of Alfred because I was like, there's no way, right? I'm wrong on that. I'm just not thinking right. But no,
Yeah,
that's
it's a dumb name.
that's everything.
Anyway,
Everything. But yeah. So Joe, what do you think about the length of this? Obviously, if it's the Super Bowl commercial, we won't get the full trailer. We'll get like a minute-ish version, and they'll have on the end of it, see the full trailer on YouTube or whatever.
I doubt it would be a minute. It'll probably be like 30 seconds.
Between
But
30 seconds and a minute.
yeah, fair. And you say, look at me to see if I give anything away. Like I said earlier, these go to a different company, and then they make the trailers.
No, I just
Um,
meant like look
I
at
know
him.
you.
Maybe he knows. Just
No, I have no idea what because
especially of the chat today. That was even more funny.
I was busy. I had to work. I actually had to work because I didn't know the jobs. So I couldn't look at my phone as much. No, fine. Like they did the same thing last year. 30-second to a minute trailer. The full trailers online, and within 15 seconds of it dropping, it'll be in our chat because that's how
But
we are.
but still, this is one of those times where it is one of the rare smart marketing decisions that Warner Brothers make because we looked at the stats a couple weeks ago, at least domestically anyway, because this is you're going to get so many general audience people to see this, and you
Oh
may
yeah.
catch some people with Keaton's Batman and how they're interested in a little bit with that. So
Okay.
I'll be Snell's interest obviously, but the random people may actually see Keaton and identify with that. So this is actually smart play. Like you said, 86 of the, or 82 or 86 of the 100 top broadcasts last year in the States domestically were football games. So,
Yeah.
and obviously the biggest of them all is going to bring in the most, like it's
You
still
know
one
what?
of the juggernaut
You know what
things.
really sucks is
What?
that the Super Bowl is on, in 2 weeks, and I'll be in the middle of watching Last of Us instead of watching the Super Bowl.
It's not that sucky, Joe. Like I'm going to be honest
No,
with
but
you.
I always watch like as much as I hate the Super Bowl, I don't watch football. I watch the commercials,
That's
and
what
if
you're
they're
about to say.
dropping trailers left and right, like I can't. I have to. I have to pay attention to the show I'm covering, and I can't be looking at the chat.
I will say you have a good chance as a betting man that you'll get to see the trailer before you have to watch Last of Us.
Oh, maybe
In the
because the game
timeline of the
starts.
Super Bowl,
Yeah.
6:30, yeah. That Super Bowl will be their entire 20. Yes, well, S-Bubs, that's
Oh,
probably
did you
why they just
finish it
they
out? The entire 2023 marketing budget need to save money after Black Adam. Yes,
yes.
sir.
And all the games, this is one of the rare times where I uh, give a thumbs up for spending that money. I know it's like a big one-off, but as someone who's gone through business school accounting, but we have done some marketing as well. Like you can't pay anymore for the amount of general audience eyes that you have on this kind of event. It's like this World Cup, some of this stuff. Worldwide, the World Cup more so, but for domestically to bring in the general audience,
Yeah,
using
it's
the
Super
Super Bowl as a
Bowl,
key.
it's the NCAA championship, it's the NBA playoff. Like it's the big games. Those are the ones people watch.
And
If
so
they don't
yeah,
watch anything else, they watch the final championship game.
yes, 100%. And like you said, Joe, like the commercials. I know people that go to Super Bowl parties just to watch the commercials and eat the food.
There
So
was there was one year I went to a friend's house where it was just us, and we put the game on because we're like, we're interested in the game, but we really want to watch the commercials. It took us till I think after halftime to realize we were watching it on his PlayStation 3 at the time. Maybe it was his 4. Before we realized that it was the same commercials over and over again because we weren't actually watching it live. We were just
yeah,
enjoying our company and have a grand old time. But yeah, so that
and
was
us
fun.
Canadians, well, the Canadians I've been to, normally there's a laptop over in the corner with the American like version streaming. So when the commercials come on, and you're not missing any because no, most of the time Canada ones don't get all the great ones that. So I'm on YouTube the next day looking them up, just trying to see.
Well, and the way the Super Bowl has been in the last couple of years, half of the commercials are online the week before. So,
Yes.
like,
So, but
it's
this is
not a
the
waste of
thing with the
money
trailer.
anymore.
This is the thing with the trailer. It's a good idea when you don't
Trailers
have
stick there, yes, but
when
commercials,
it's new. Commercials that come out beforehand make no sense to me, Joe.
I
Like,
hate
yes, you get them to a bit more broader of an audience, but if you have such a viral commercial in the marketing that I've learned, like that viral marketing will go far more than just the little Super Bowl hit. But when
that.
you're talking about trailer, you're trying to bring people in for a future event, and that is something that I really it's a smart decision. And
True,
if
true.
this trailer is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, like I'll be so happy. Like we're gonna get a glorious amount because we haven't had anything in terms of actors saying any
I
words
will
in.
be interested to see what they show in the trailer.
Yes, very
Considering
interesting.
what I know, I'd be interested to see what they show in the trailer.
And considering some of the stuff that's been rumored out there, obviously some of that is fact, some of that's fiction.
Correct.
But there's a whole hell of a lot. Like the Flash has been rumored for the most that I think
I
for
have an
DC films.
idea. You know what? I'm gonna write down my idea. Yeah, I've got an idea what they might do, and I will like put it in a letter and seal it up.
And then open it up when we after we review the movie. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea. Uh
Well, after we see the trailer,
yeah, see the
because
trailer. There you
again,
go.
it's what they put in the trailer. I've got an idea what they could put in there without giving too much away. We'll see.
So, Joe, unfortunately, like I said earlier, Greg Berlanti is rumored to not be in the running for any DC shows. He's not going to be heavily involved in any of those, and it makes even more sense with Doom Patrol and Titans. He was a EP on both, and those are getting the can as well. I don't think he after Superman and Lois. I don't think there's any DC shows that that he is involved in
Is
right
he
now.
not
So,
involved with Gotham Knights?
oh, I hope not for him, but
But
uh,
that's the only DC show I can think of coming
yeah,
out that he would have any involvement in. Because there's nothing else coming out as far as I know.
I don't think. Yeah, sorry, it is Greg Berlanti's production. Oh,
Okay,
Greg. Oh, Greg. So yeah,
so
after this
he's not
year, he won't be doing DC show.
allegedly. We don't know if Superman
Allegedly.
Lois is done.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. That's the right thing. As you're watching Superman Lois, you're
I
like,
mean, look, I'm watching to catch up with what's coming out soon, so we could talk about it on the show.
you're
So we
enjoying
have
it.
something to talk about on the show. Which, again, when we get to it in a bit, got some positives to talk about. So
But
we'll get there.
I'm a little shocked, Joe, that he's not going to be doing anything with DC, like it more heavily involved. There were talks of him
He does
actually being
the
the guy
last
that.
10 years, man. Like,
No, I know. I
he's a
just figured they'd
prince.
bring him in as a EP with. I figured Gunn would bring him in for some sort of consultant at the very least, just because
Yeah,
of how the success he had building the Arrowverse at a very limited budget. Let's not like he might be able to do something even more incredible with actual film budget. So
maybe.
I just would be curious to see if he and Gunn talk is just something that would surprise me if they never have. Going forward, we have Keanu Reeves finally said something since Constantine has been released, and it's kind of positive.
Announced.
Kind of,
Constant's
well,
been
yeah.
announced. Yeah.
Sorry, I said released. Announced. Uh, they basically asked if he has any other information about it, and he said, I don't know if it's unfinished business, but it was definitely a role that he loved, and he thought that Francis Lawrence, the director, did such an amazing job. He loves playing that character, and he loved enjoying that film. Uh, and he said he just kept asking Warner Brothers over and over and over again, "Can I please do it?" And they're like, "No, no." And then they said yes, and he said like, "So it's exciting. It's almost like an open playground that we can hopefully cook something up and play in, and I guess get out of the playground and prepare a meal. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it can happen. You don't know how these things go, but I'm definitely going to try my darndest to try and realize that dream." I also love that he said darndest. Uh,
Oh,
but yeah,
well, I can't wait for this to be canceled by James Gunn.
he's
Just kidding.
not going to cancel that. He,
I'm really looking forward to this movie. Hopefully,
same
it
goes.
still comes.
Hey, Chris, how you doing tonight?
Oh, Chris,
I'm really excited for us to get to that in the DC films through the year as well. Because I vaguely remember that film. It's been
it's
that
been
long,
so long since I've seen it,
but
and
it had such a
I
like cult
remember,
following.
yeah, and I remember enjoying it.
So I would love to see him come back, and if if he does a crisis event or a convergence event or whatever he thinks about, uh, it would be good to be able to pull from him. As well says, speaking of casting, do you think it's possible we get an announcement of DC Films Black Label? I think there is a possibility of that as Bubs as they talk about Joker, and even maybe they might shift Matt Reeves' Batman over to that style, that area as well, if you really want to. But
I would love
I
that because Black Label, it, from what we know, Black Label is Elseworlds.
yes,
It's its own little
pocket
bubble,
dimensions, yeah.
and it's one of those things where you can have multiple projects and they don't have to connect.
Yeah.
So I would love for that to happen. Because Constantine was originally Vertigo,
Hmm.
and it was his own little universe, crossed over with Swamp Thing constantly, and Swamp Thing and Constantine would merge with the regular DC comics from time to time, but their own stories were separate
There,
over here. So I would love that.
that would be so awesome. And that's what I was thinking too, Chris. Maybe the Batman and Joker are already Black Label. That would be a good way to launch your Black Label if you talked about that, saying like, "Here's our slate," but also we're not going to just ignore fans that like other things. We have a Black Label, and right there we have two properties over on that side: Joker's sequel and Matt Reeves' a Batman sequel, plus the TV shows that go with that as well. I don't know. He said with Shazam being New Line, y'all think it could also fit in the Black Label verse if there's one. I don't know. With all the, it depends. Like they showed apparently Wonder Woman is in uh,
Allegedly.
allegedly in the Shazam film. There's people showing like picture that they think is her, but if it is, I find it hard to do that.
She
But
was showing a lot of shoulder.
I, Joe and her shoulders.
um, honestly, though, I think Shazam is. I don't want to say too mainstream, but Black Label, like I said, Black Label itself is its own separate thing. I would make the assumption that Shazam would be
A DCU
DCU.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. So James Gunn shared a picture that people thought was just of his cat and might very well be just of his cat, but unfortunately for James, behind his cat and on the computer screen, you could see some words, and people
you,
are crazy.
you say it well. You say they're crazy. You say unfortunate for James, but this man is masterful in putting this stuff there purposely. We saw a picture, I think, either today or yesterday, of Jeffrey Dean Morgan having stacks of leaning on stacks of Invincible. Like
Yeah.
these people know how to tease things. God
That's
damn it, that's fun.
next letter's turkey was the blue wrist. Oh man. Uh, like I said, but I just thought it was cool. Like you see Waller there, and is he
Waller's
teasing
name is
for
dropped.
at Amanda Waller's show, which is one of the things they talked about, and will they continue on with that? I have so many questions about what is going on with the DCU, and I can't wait to
But
get
here's the
some
thing:
answers tomorrow.
it's possible, highly improbable, but possible. It could be not Amanda Waller. It could be a Waller, but
Oh
just not Amanda
yes,
Waller.
but it also I want to say too, they could do an Amanda Waller show.
They could.
And if you don't show anyone that was on the previous Suicide Squad, or even a couple people, you could still say it's a different Earth. I just want to harken people back. Like if you just want a little sample, watch if you watch The Flash in season 2, they go to Earth 2. But
What?
there are
Spoiler alert.
there's a lot of things that are different on that Earth, but there's a hell of a lot of things that are similar as well. Like the same person as Wells. A lot of people are the same, but they have different like motivations. Some people are evil that were good. Some people are good that were evil. But for the most part, a lot of the people were the same. You had some different characters, but for the most part, everyone was the same. So I don't want to rule out
You could
anything.
also follow that thread, and during the Crisis event, when Barry is running through, he meets up with Barry Allen,
Hmm.
not any of other Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, Barry Allen. So, and they both are the Flash. Like multiverse is fun like that.
I will say, Chris, to your point, Chris says Bond kept Judy Dench as AM after Brosnan, and no one questioned that. That could be a way to keep Waller. That is an
Here,
idea. You
here
have to establish it, but Bond did that far before Judy Dench.
they did it with Q
Q was the same, and M was the same for some
for
like
a
almost
while. I
all
think
the
even
Roger.
Moneypenny was the same for a while. But
Yes.
here's the big difference. People actually like Bond. Everybody hates DC and wants to complain about it.
Yeah, well, that's the other, or maybe there's not enough people that really complain about Bond
What's to
enough.
complain about? The man was a misogynistic bastard for most of his career.
60,
Totally
70
fine.
years. Yeah. Oh man. But I still love the film, and I was so glad they kept her. So because there was rumors
Oh
that they
yeah.
were going to change, and it was nice to keep her going forward. Uh, yeah. Next up is a rumor that was shared by the art of the Batman on Twitter, which there is a little bit of. So it's
Just a little bit,
rumor
Chris.
that Robert Pattinson will return as Batman in the Penguin spin-off series. Uh, Pattinson was recently spotted in New York City, where the sequel series will begin production in February. What do you think about this, Joe? Do you think there's a possibility that he will show up in that show? Will he be prominent, or will it just be a couple appearances? Will that take away from the Penguin show overall? Or if you're watching the Penguin show set in Gotham and it continues on after the events of the Batman, are you wondering after a few days of Penguin doing illegal shit and stealing and robbing, like where's Batman? Why isn't Batman trying to shut him down? Or do you not even think about that? What would you think going into that Penguin series, especially when they're setting it in Gotham right after the events of the Batman?
Is Batman needed in the Penguin show? No, he is not. Also, yeah, as Bub's here, I think people universally like Viola Davis, which they do as
Yeah,
Waller.
I think you're
So
right.
again, she could stay. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah, on this Earth, she's the same. Waller's the same
again,
person.
and that honestly, if you can explain that, hey, we are in a different universe, but these people are the same. All right, cool.
Flash.
Yeah, exactly. But back to the Batman. Would I like to see him in there? I would, I would, but it doesn't have to be like a prominent role. Like he doesn't have to show up and like, oh, I'm gonna punch Penguin again today. Like you could see him in the background. It doesn't have to be Robert Pattinson. It could be like a double, but you could see him in the background, you know, flying off, or you see him fighting as Penguin comes out, and then Batman rushes off or something because he's got to go somewhere else. Uh, I'd be okay. I'm okay with it regardless him being in there, but I also don't want the show to be reliant on it.
Mhm. You
The show is called The Penguin,
yeah.
you know, and I this is my biggest fallback for Star Wars: The Book of Boba Fett, because it's called The Book of Boba Fett, and then we had 2 episodes of Mando with a minute and a half of Boba Fett. Like what was the point? What was the point of that? So that's what I don't want. I don't want them to be propping up Penguin, and then we have an episode just dedicated to the Batman ruining his
Everything he's built.
heirs, to then just go back and be like, well, I guess I gotta start over again. I don't know why I sound like Goofy there.
You could have it more so, Joe. I would love to see the Batman in the Penguin show. It doesn't have to be like multiple episodes or anything. It could even be as Bubs. I was going to
You are
say it.
correct.
I was going to
Yes,
say
they
it.
are the best. They're the problem is that it should have been called the Book of. It should have been Mando season 3, but it should have been like Mando, the Book of Boba Fett or something. Like I anyway. Sorry.
Mando,
Also,
how he stole
like
Boba Fett's coolness.
you have 2 episodes that are important to the Mando story. That when season 3 comes out, now you got this whole thing of, oh, well, how does he have the ship? How does he get Grogu back? Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett. How do I? Sorry.
Stick with DC Alliance as we go over not only Marvel's content but Star Wars content as well.
Well, I never have time to hop on the Star Wars Alliance anymore,
You're
so
right though, Joe. It
it's a
is.
whole mess.
You're not wrong in the things you're saying there. Personally, though, I would love to see him. Like, you could have him show up after, let's say, Penguin at the very end of his season or series takes over Falcone's operations and is the main man. It has the iceberg lines,
But that
and
was the
you could
whole
have.
point of, like, I wasn't he do. I thought that was the whole, like, he's starting that, like he takes over in the
Oh
very
yeah, but like,
beginning.
there's going to be struggles, and I'm just talking about
Oh, okay,
like
yeah.
at the very end of that series, like he's now top dog in that whole like area, and Batman shows up and basically threatens him and tells him like, "I knew you back when you were like slumming it down here for Falcone. Don't think that I won't send you right back to where you came from." Obviously, way better dialogue than Travis just spoke, but in some terms of just intimidating him, you could even have that, and you don't have to have like you could just show one episode. You could show the bat single, and another like you
Yeah,
don't have to. You gotta watch it because you can't oversaturate the Penguin with Batman appearances
yeah,
because
I've got
people will be expecting that for every shoot show that you do and everything that is connected to Reeves's universe. Yeah.
exactly. I have no illusion that if Patterson shows up, he's filming for a day, 2 days, a week at most, because his role in this is gonna be so minute that it won't like, he'd be in it, but he's not an overbearing presence.
Hmm. Agreed. So, listeners, we'll take our final ad break of the evening. We're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ad or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got a couple little news segments, little news spots before we get out of here this evening. This one, I definitely think you'll be excited to discuss. DC Comics has announced Titans from Tom Taylor and Nicola Scott, Cyborg from Morgan Hampton and Tom Rainey, and Green Lantern from Jeremy Adams. And oh my God, I can't even. Uh, and somebody else.
Monaco?
I think it's Ermentio, I
What
think.
was that?
Uh,
Apologies, we do not
Apologies.
speak
Yeah,
other languages.
not very well. Uh,
I barely
I
speak
did a lot.
English,
I
man.
did a lot of French, and it didn't stick.
I did
All
Latin and I
three.
failed.
I, all three. Actually, the final for my grade 12 French was all about sports, and I basically did a fist pump because those were some of the words that I remembered the best. So it's like, oh my god, I can
Perfect.
understand this, even though all three books are part of DC of the Dawn of DC initiative, and will be launching in May. So, Joe, as a big comic fan yourself, what do you think about this announcement? Because DC kind
I
of switched
have
things up a
0
lot.
thoughts because I haven't really been paying attention to a lot of the new stuff coming out. Now, the Dawn of DC stuff, like I guess I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I don't know what's coming out. I haven't been paying attention, which I guess sucks. But I mean, Tom Taylor is just an amazing writer. Almost everything he does is gold, even though people are like trying to give him shit for his um Jonathan Kent run.
Oh, don't even.
Superman.
That's just misogynistic
Oh
assholes.
yeah, again, that's just idiots. Oh,
Close-minded
your
idiots.
woke
Yeah.
Superman sucks, huh? It's number one. Fuck off. Um.
Also, people who are complaining about Last of Us,
Oh God, dude, you
from what
guys.
I was reading on Twitter, in terms of just no one was sharing actual scenes, but a lot of sit back and buckle up
Oh
because you're
yeah,
in for such a ride, there, son.
and I'll bring that up on when I talk about the episode this week. They think the third episode was just too gay heavy. You just wait. Just wait. You guys don't even know. You, Travis, I think we may have talked, maybe have overheard. You don't know, but I know you don't
No,
care about that either.
oh, I don't care at all. I'm just
But
like,
like that, but like you don't know. These
no,
these idiots who have never played the game don't know. Anyway,
that's
sorry.
fine. I love idiots getting to come up, and it's just
Mm,
very enjoyable at times. Uh,
It was so beautiful. Chris, a walk to the multiverse this week, man. Just listen to it. It's gonna be. Yep, yep.
Shh, you guys, I gotta watch it in the morning. I don't go to school till 10:30, so I have time to watch it in the morning. Uh, yeah, Chris. Yeah, Joe. I'm super excited about this. Tom Taylor's Nightwing. I mean,
I loving that. Again, Taylor knows what
it's
he's doing. Cyborg looks interesting. I've tried all the other Cyborg runs that came out, like New 52 and on. They're fine. It needs a good writer. That's the problem. Like
yes,
every time it
yes.
has a new run, the story is interesting for a little bit, but there's only so much you could do with Cyborg. Him as a singular title hasn't worked well really ever, and they've
No.
they've tried it since the 80s. Um, so maybe this one will work. I don't know. He's better as in a team format.
Well, he's the
Um,
same cyborg that's in the Titans
so which again,
team
he'll
here
probably be
from
great
the
in
design.
Titans,
Yeah.
but him by himself, I don't know. And then Green Lantern is just Green Lantern. So
Yeah, so I'm excited, especially for the Titans.
I need to get an actual list of what's coming out because they've released things over the last
Yeah, they've
couple
released so
months.
yeah.
But like I need to get a full like breakdown list of what's coming out, and I'll have to find that.
But I think myself and Joe are in agreement. If Tom Taylor is involved, we're definitely giving it a check. We're checking it out for sure at some point. So yeah, I'm really excited to check this out. And like I said, I think it's good. Like we're getting more comics, and I'm hoping that Gunn is involved in some of this as well, in terms of giving
Yeah,
comics thumbs up
let's,
and like
let's,
kind of like
he can stick.
you're like
Let
you're
him
like
stick to
no
the movies and the shows. Like
you're like we don't need a Kevin Feige situation here.
we don't need a Jeff Johns situation.
Oh yeah, well, I just meant in terms of Feige
Oh, I know
gives
what you
thumbs
meant,
up. Yeah,
but even Feige doesn't touch the comics.
can
So
so yeah. So finally, I guess Joe,
not
this will
finally.
be
We got
news.
one more.
There's one more after this. S- so we have a new Lex Luthor has been cast for Superman and Lois. We haven't had one. We were wondering for 2 seasons now, was John Cryer from Supergirl going to tie into this show and have him? But no, not at all. We have a completely new actor, Michael Cudditz, who is from Walking Dead fame, has been cast as Lex Luthor.
Walking,
Uh,
sir, you mean Mighty Ducks 2 and Mighty Ducks 3 fame?
well, I didn't want to typecast him as an enforcer uh, role of a hockey player. So,
No, it's just one of those things. When I saw him in Walking Dead, I'm like, I know him. Why do I know him? And I think at the time, not at the time, but like a few years back, I rewatched all three Mighty Ducks movies, and I'm like, wait a minute.
that's him, Abraham.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was that was a little shocking to me. Honestly, I expected John Cryer to be the Lex. He has talked about it a little bit
I
on
know he
Twitter.
wanted to. I know he
Yeah,
really wanted to come over.
he did. He mentioned that he would love to work there, but he also congratulated Michael and told him like good luck and you'll have a great time, and shared a funny little gif of Lois smacking him upside the head and saying like watch it for Bitsy Tulloch, and she commented as well. So it was very classy by John Cryer. And also this week he did mention that he pitched to the people of the Arrowverse a Legion of Doom spinoff. And I can understand why they didn't do that, because we basically had the Legion of Doom as the main villains for the third season of Legends, second season of Legends.
I mean, it was a small Legion of Doom, but
Yeah, but
it was
yeah,
a
the
really odd Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. Yeah,
But
with Rip. What?
yeah, I
Huh?
don't know.
Yeah, first season of that show was still the best in my opinion. Uh, but yeah, I'm really excited to see his performance, and this will be the third Lex we have on TV in the last year and a half,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. This
with
is,
Titans, John
I
Cryer,
think we've
and
gotten
this
more Lexes in film and TV than we've had
Superman.
Superman.
That's a good bet now, especially with Titans
Yeah, exactly.
filling that role. Yeah, so I'll be excited to see his performance. Can't wait to check it out. I'm really excited for this season,
I
and
love the
we'll be
actor, so I he's gonna do wonderful. He's bulk. He's bulky too. So this is
Mhm.
we're gonna
It will
in my
remind me of the
mind.
Superman the animated series a bit more, because he looked bulky too in the Superman the animated
I think that was
series.
just the art style.
The art design, but I
But
thought that's what I thought.
I'm thinking more of Lex from, was it Public Enemies? No,
Yes,
the Superman
yes, he's
Batman
taking a
comic.
steroid. He's taking a steroid in
Yeah,
Public
he's
Enemies.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking more of that Lex.
That could possibly be a chance to, and they could go down that route. We don't know how long Lex and Clark have known each other or anything like that from
Not in
this.
this,
We
not in this
assume a
world.
long
Yeah.
time, but this could be Lex Luthor first bursting on the scene. I don't know. I just can't wait to finally get Lex Luthor and Superman and Lois. I think
But
it's been long overdue.
the fact that we just got the announcement this last week means that he's not going to be in the first half. He'll
No, he's
definitely be
not
in the
going to be
back
in.
half.
He's definitely going to be the
He'll be talked about.
mid-season. He'll be the mid-season tease,
Yeah.
probably. If the
Yes.
person really pulling the strings behind whatever's going on.
Yeah. It's
It
gonna be one
won't
of those
be
things
a
where
it won't be a one-off
he'll be
like Titans.
ugh. But yeah, he'll be teased probably the whole season. Was he talked about at all in season 2?
I don't remember him ever being referenced, if I'm being
Okay.
honest with you. He could be in like a news article or something that like is like framed on the wall or something. Like just Lex goes to prison, but I can't remember. It's been a lot of times since I watched first season, so I can't remember exactly if he's
Well, he
referenced
has
or you
been
see him.
mentioned. Yeah, I mean, Edge has been the main villain, obviously, of this first season, and the things coming about with that, which I'll get into here in a bit. But yeah, I just didn't know if he had shown up in season 2 at all. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
that.
Chris. I didn't think he was mentioned. Like, I'm just afraid that somebody will come back and saying, "Yeah, in season 1, episode 7, on the wall in Lois's room, there was something, an article framed up, and it was like Superman, like captures
in
Lex or stops Lex."
in season 2, episode 5, minute 3, you can see an L. And then if you go back to season 1, episode 13, there's an X.
Joe, don't take that away. That's what I was doing for Arrow, trying to find a Green Lantern. John Diggle's gonna become Green Lantern. His name is John. No, no, no. And then they did the
You
goddamn
weren't the only
episode.
one. I remember that being all over the internet.
Yeah, I was super hopeful for that. That didn't pan out. But something coming to the Arrowverse. See the segue there.
Coming back.
Eddie is coming back from the Flash for the final season of the Flash, which that's cool. I really enjoyed his character from the first season. I did love how I think they might have brought him back for one like memory or two, but
Wasn't
he
didn't he come back in like the 100th episode?
maybe for a memory or something like
Yeah.
that. But
This definitely seems like he's coming back for like coming back.
well, the episode title is A New World Part 1, and it's episode
Oh.
10. And it could go something like how Arrow ended, where he reset everything and everyone's back alive, but he's not. So I don't know how they're going to do this,
You
but
can
I'm
never
excited
repeat
to
that.
see Eddie get a final little send off here.
If I had watched the last 2 seasons and cared to watch this season, it might mean something. But it
I
doesn't.
got you, listeners. I got you.
No,
Uh,
I'm not gonna check it out, but like him coming back, it's great. I feel like it. I mean, I'm sure the story will
I know I'm
actually
not. I'm never going to
explain
say that with the
why.
Flash anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure the story's going to work. I can't say that
I didn't
anymore
say
after
work.
watching
I
those
said
seasons.
explain why. But the fact that he's coming back, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, it's nice to see you just bring back some of the hits. That's one of the reasons that Arrow season 8 was so good, was bringing back some of those characters like Tommy that
Yes.
you got to see a different take on. Or so yeah, this is exciting news. I'll be checking out the final season of Flash. We'll be watching Man recaps to catch up, and we'll not be watching the final few episodes of that season 8. Lastly, aiming at Disney's successful D23 and Investor Day, WBD will make its upfronts 2023 a big event at the theater at Madison Square Garden on May 17th. The event, which will showcase WBD's upcoming portfolio content from WB, HBO, DC, HBO Max, Discovery, etc., will also be streamed live via live, and then this was via Luis Fernando on Twitter.
Just can't help trying to be Marvel, huh?
I'm okay with this, just for the fact that I do like it shows that you have a plan and bringing just been DC stuff, but I can also see you just for Investor Day trying to get more marketing money, more money
Sure,
coming
like that
in.
makes sense.
Yeah, so to show
But
like here's
Investor
all the
Day,
stuff we got.
but Investor Day is one of those where it's strictly investors only, and
Hmm.
then we will get the remnants later. This trying to reach out to everybody, it's fine. It's fun. Is it needed?
For us as
Like,
podcasters, yes, for a
sure.
day, but
Again,
you do have a good point there. Like you got to, especially with Zaslav being a penny pincher, you would think that he would be very hesitant to go with stuff that doesn't quite yield anything. You can't really see a monetary gain from spending all this money.
yeah.
So I would be hesitant to watch this. I always want to hear and see the investor calls for Disney though. So at some parts of this, like I think last Investor Day, we got basically written breakdowns. So to be able to see this, even if it's not Investor Day, even if they make their own D23, like WBD 23 or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
so that could be a way to do it. I guess you're just trying to get the word out there to more people, but
Yeah, it's to get to the general audience. I mean, heck, I remember when D23 would announce something, I would hear it on the local radio like a day or two later. Just
Yeah, you
well,
are right
an
about that.
announcement. So
That's like Super Bowl thing. You hear that
correct.
on radio, like so having that movie trailer there is still a good idea. Joe, that's it for the news we have.
Yeah.
We have obviously our Smallville retro recaps. But before we jump into that, do you want to catch the listeners up on your Superman and Lois watch? But you've watched
Sure.
three
So
more episodes.
I watched 3 more episodes, episodes 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, 10, 11,
Hmm.
12 because 15 episodes.
Hmm.
Um, where we left off on 9 was when Edge just revealed to Superman that he's Kryptonian, which at first, that alone is shocking. But then the very next episode, episode 10, is when he reveals, "Oh, hey, I'm your brother, by the way." And it's like, what the fuck? So then they get Laura coming back, get put into Lana's body, which was weird,
Hmm.
and especially really weird when Clark is looking at his former girlfriend, but talking to his mom, and it's like, I've seen porns like this.
Oh, there'll be a letter that'll be given in season 2 that'll make you forget about any of the
Oh
ridiculousness that
wow,
you
that's gonna be
saw.
great.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all I'll say. There's no more context I'll give than that, but you'll
that's
know
fine.
when you know, and
I'll
you'll say, "That son of a bitch was right."
but no, like this. Then we got him submitting to Edge, um, to save his family, which then gets Zod put into him. And then the last episode, episode 12, we get John Henry Irons back in his full steel costume,
Mhm,
fighting Superman, Zod. We get Diggle showing up, which was very lackluster.
mhm.
Mm. But
Get used to that.
seeing John Henry um appeal to, like, he saw Superman and he saw that the whole reason why Lois contacted him to get John Henry was to end it. And Superman's sitting there like, just do it. You got to do it. If you don't, it's going to be bad. And Lois screaming in his ears, "Hey, he's still fighting. You can appeal to him." Like, these 3 episodes were amazing. I really
Mhm.
liked them to the point where I got done watching them and I'm like, I want to finish this out. I want to watch more.
Well,
So
fish out this
I'm
season.
looking forward to finishing this season this week and coming back next week and talking about it.
It's a really solid show, Joe. I was
I'm
so surprised at how
I'm
good it was.
really
It's
upset
so
with
hard
myself
not
for
to
not
spoil
watching
things for
more.
you too,
Yeah,
because
please
it's
don't.
just I'm like,
I've
"Oh my
already
god, there's so
spoiled
many."
some stuff myself, so
Yeah, so I'm tight-lipped. I think that was the only, and I don't think if I didn't give any context, there's no way to know what I'm talking about unless you listen to us talk about it on DC Alliance. You may have
no,
forgotten about
I
that
download
specific.
those episodes to give the downloads, but I did not listen to because I'm like, I haven't watched the show. Why listen?
My man. So yeah, it's a great show, and I'm really glad that you're enjoying it. I remember like thinking honestly, part of my thought in the first season was at the very end of the season, you're going to find out that behind everything was Lex Luthor, John Cryer, and we're going to spin back from him in his chair. And that's what I thought was going to happen. This was back when I was like, oh yes, they're talking. Yeah, before we knew that, yeah, this show probably is like Dead Man Walking on Green Mile. So because CW, the new CW, is already putting out. Yeah, we're only having 3 scripted shows, and the rest is going to be live golf and other things of that nature. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
if this could be revived
Reality
somewhere, it would
shows,
be great.
take over now again.
Revive, put it to Netflix. That would be so nice. Yeah, it's a great show, Joe, and I'm really glad. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the finale and how the season wraps up. So we have one final thing on the docket for tonight: our Smallville retro recaps. Uh, Same
Watching
here,
all
Chris.
this, like, I'm look forward to what season 2 is going to bring, Chris. Like,
Say, I
you
caught
about
myself.
said something.
I was just about to ask Chris his thoughts on
Tell
something,
you what,
but
I can take my no, never mind.
no, that's fine. I'll DM Chris later and ask him his thoughts
There you
on
go.
a specific thing in the finale of season 2. That's all. Yeah.
I'll get
So we
there
have
in 5-6 weeks.
you'll get there, and then I'll be able to ask you what you
Yeah,
thought of that.
we're only 7 weeks away from it, actually.
I
Think
know,
about it.
which
I
is
forgot.
a nice little piece of content we're going to get is this Superman Lois. I'm really excited to see, especially if they knew this was their final season, they may go like all out.
True.
So
But since we don't know if it's final season or not, we'll act like it's not until it is.
mhm. So our Smallville retro recaps for this week is season 2, episode 3, Duplicity. And Joe, this was an episode that I remember exactly when I watched this growing up. I thought this was such a cool episode to bring Pete into the fold. And I love how we finally, like, Pete's been just like in Clark's outer orbit, even though they make him seem like he's his like super best friend, like super
Well, he
close.
is
He's in the
until Lex
outer
shows up.
orbit, yes, and now Lex is in the inside orbit. But now they've switched it up again, and Pete is even one more layer deeper with Clark. And I think that's a great thing for the show, and it really does wonders for Pete's characters in the next couple seasons.
I remembered vaguely that Pete knew about the secret,
Hmm.
but I also know that Sam Jones, the actor, like he left after like season 4, I believe, or 5. He didn't stay forever.
No, and he came
And then he
back
would
for one episode
come
where he was
back here and there.
chewing gum. I think it was his only other
Really?
appearance. He gained powers from chewing kryptonite gum.
Oh yeah.
It's
Forgot about
Stretch, I think.
I forgot about that. Um, but yeah, this episode was very interesting. It definitely showed it because Clark is lying to his friend this entire time. And then I can understand his reaction to like, oh, what you lied to me about stealing the thing. Oh, you actually didn't lie to me about stealing it. Now you lied to me my whole life. What the hell? I can get his reaction, but at the same time, it's like, do you not understand what's going on with him? Like he had to lie. And then he figures that out once he gets captured, to then be threatened to almost dying. Is like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna give up my friend. I can't. I'm not gonna do it. There was something that the guys shared on Talkville, and I can't remember what
About
exactly it
what?
was.
Because I watched the whole Talkville.
Well, I did too, but I don't.
They did mention that this was nice for Sam Jones to get more to do with his character going forward, and that is mentioned here about a reason why he left. Because behind the scenes, he demanded more story arcs and better material from the producers, who maintained that he did not want to continue on the show and wanted more money. Sam's final regular appearance on the show was Forsaken, in which Pete left Smallville after getting attacked by an FBI agent who was working for Lionel Luthor. Regardless, with Pete leaving Smallville, this proved to Clark that most and many should not know his secret, and only reinforce his secretive behavior towards his friends and loved ones, including Lana. And then Pete returned in the episode Hero as a metahuman who could stretch his limbs while chewing kryptonite gum. The
Hmm,
episode is generally derided as one of the worst Smallville episodes ever, with many critiquing the character's lack of growth and over placement, product placement of straw and gum.
did they
I
watch
can't
season
remember that.
10?
I do remember straw and gum though, and it being there. So yeah, the character didn't grow at all, which is a kind of ironic considering he could stretch for his power.
And he's so short. Um, yeah, no, I enjoyed the episode. Um, oh, I think yeah, I remember what it was now. They were talking about how the car and how Clark was stopping it, and how Tom basically breaks it down of like, yeah, there it's not safe to have a vehicle like me standing in front of a vehicle and him spinning the tires, because all him being on the brakes, because all it takes is just a slip and then bam, you're dead.
Run over, yeah.
So like they have this wire that is holding the car back,
Yes.
like on a crane, and the fact that of like that car will break before that wire breaks. So
And I love that, Joe, and that was what we were missing from last episode when he flipped over the trailer. He didn't really know, or
he
didn't
couldn't
seem like
remember.
he. Yeah. Now he was filming too around that time, like he was going to film Winchester. So I don't want to fault the man for not having enough time to check out and call people
Correct.
when he's busy. But when you're not busy, like it was like a few months ago, even when he was doing things, doing the
You could
podcast.
have, you could have like
You do a bit of
prepared
background
for it.
information, especially if you watch it and wonder, like, maybe the listeners will want to know about that because that's part of their thing is giving background information. So that was something that I'd really like to know was how they did that,
Yes,
and I
but
did
at
enjoy
the
the
same
time.
time, I think them, especially going back to
Yes.
these earlier episodes, it's been what 20 years. They're
Mhm.
trying to remember,
Oh, and some
and
of the
not
production
everybody's gonna
people could be
remember
dead too. Some of the production people
that too. Yeah, they could have passed
could
away.
be yeah. So
So
there's
they themselves are trying to remember, and sometimes you can't. Like
yep.
you
Especially if
remember a lot of
if you're Tom Willing, if you've done like what over 100 episodes and
almost
you
200, and
almost
then
200
yeah,
and
and
then you
then a
all the
couple
stunts,
movies.
all the things. So yeah, it's
Things,
kind of
yeah,
hard
things
just
will
in the
blend together.
show, not including going in, like you said, doing other movies, other shows.
Yeah.
But like even in that show, if you do 10 seasons, I'm sure you're forgetting some of the stunts you did in the first season. So
Oh,
yeah,
especially well, maybe not the first season,
yeah,
but definitely like seasons
2
2
or
through
3
like
or
6
4,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
You'll have spotty, but then like the last couple, they're
you'll
more
remember.
fresh. You're gonna remember
And
them.
probably more painful because you're older.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, so I really love this. I love Pete figuring out Clark's secret. I loved how Pete wanted to keep Clark involved with selling with the whole spaceship. Like that's the first person he went to, and
Well,
I did
was
enjoy
trying.
that. But also, it was
Which
funny to see
okay,
Pete come out and see Clark and Jonathan there. Like, come on, Pete, be a
I
bit.
wanna I wanna bring this up because this is something I forgot. So the spaceship falls during what spring formal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it falls into a cornfield,
Hmm.
which we see that because of the giant corn stalks in spring. Okay, fine, whatever.
Hmm.
But now it is been 3 months, and these giant corn stalks are still there.
Hmm.
Also, the fact of I know, and this is just placement, but like when they showed it where it was at the end of season 1 or beginning of season 2, whatever. It was seemed like it was more in the middle of a field versus okay, now it's at the edge of the field near the road.
I got even better net pick than that.
The
Crop
cops not
dust.
showing up.
Crop dusters. You
Oh,
tell
that
me
too.
no crop dusters flying over because, and don't tell me crop dusters don't fly over because we specifically got an episode last season where a crop duster saw the ship and that was like part of the greasy guys trying to convince Lex that there was a spaceship.
That is a fact.
So
Yes.
they actually exist. They fly in Smallville. So you're telling me crop dusters would not see that and say, maybe we should land and see what this
Well,
is.
it apparently been 15 years since that crop duster did anything. So
I know, but there's other
no, you're
crop
right.
dusters.
You're
Yeah.
right. It's just the fact of there is, especially if it's just off the road, according to this episode,
Is lazy storytelling, Joe,
a
in
little
my
bit,
opinion.
a little
Like,
bit.
especially like you could have easily just had it go into a cave or anything. Like you didn't have to put it in the
In the middle of the
corner.
field.
Yeah,
And
you could have had it in
and
the
and,
cave.
and again, like the cops didn't go investigate the crash scene when the ambulance came and picked up the guy. Like that that ship was literally 5 feet away from the car.
When do we get to the ruins? Is that like next season or this season? Season
See, I thought it was
3?
this season. The
Could be at
caves?
the end of this
Talk about the
season,
caves,
maybe?
right?
Yeah,
It
that
might
the end
it
of this
might be at
season,
the
I think it
end,
is. I think so, yes.
but like it's soon. It's
Yeah.
soonish.
So yeah, like, even that's why I was surprised that we didn't get the spaceship put in there, just in the cornfield. But it, I suspended my belief past that, and like I said, I did enjoy this. I loved him telling Pete. Pete's reaction was, and seeing how gutted Clark was tough because he wanted to tell him. He thought he would have a great reaction, and then the final thing with them playing uh, basketball at the end, I thought that was a nice, heartfelt moment.
That was fun.
Yes,
Them two playing together. Don't know
there's no
the
statements or anything.
the uh the the scoopers are teasing a lot of stuff. Teasing.
Yeah. I
Don't
We'll
know.
see.
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
Well, we will find out more tomorrow. Or if you're listening to this on Tuesday, you'll
You
find
may.
out soon.
Oh
So
man. Not even Someone just shared. Someone just stay off the Twitter.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, a really enjoyable episode of Smallville, and I can't wait for the next one. Just enjoying going back and seeing these because it's been some time since I've seen the first few seasons of Smallville, and even this Pete's episode, this was one that was a uh big moment in the show. And
Yeah.
Chris says there's some
Again,
fun teases.
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 Air quotes teases. We don't know what's true yet.
Don't know
Although
it's true yet, but
allegedly there's something that was teased
I saw
recently.
Batman and Robin, and
Not that one. And that's the one I saw in the group chat. I'm like, that's interesting. But they said My Time to Shine apparently teased something. And if you go look it out, go follow My Time to Shine on Twitter. And apparently
watch
she
it.
has
Watch it for the
teased something.
NFTs.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Same, Chris. Same. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to rock. So,
Let's wait for it.
listeners, we'll see what tomorrow brings or today brings. If you're listening to this in the morning, thank you to everyone in the chat, Chris, S Bubs,
All
Al
in
the
the game.
Game. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Too bad we didn't get a slate tonight, but you'll hear our thoughts, our full in-depth breakdown on that next week on
Yep.
chapter 157 or 158. Who knows? See you, everyone.
Bye.